Hi guys, in this episode of Shri series, we will be talking about adding and subtracting algebraic fractions, alright? In the previous video, we did exactly the same type of questions, but I thought it's important that we practice more questions to build confidence among students, alright? So what I've got here is I've got two exactly similar style questions in the sense that the denominators are your numbers here. So if you look here, you got 4, you got 2, and then you've got 3, and you got 9 here as your numbers, alright? In the previous video, I did mention that when you are adding and subtracting algebraic fractions, it is exactly the same as doing it for numerical fractions, in the sense that you need to find the lowest common multiple, all right? And I said before, the lowest common multiple is the lowest or minimum number that could be exactly divisible by two denominators without having to leave a remainder. If you can understand that concept, then you can apply it in these two questions here, all right? So we'll start with question number 1, and I've just gotten a bit ahead of myself here. So I've got x minus 3 divided by 4 minus x plus 2 divided by 2, all right? So you can see here between 4 and 2, the lowest common multiple is 4. Now, I've seen students put 8, for example, or 16. Both 8 and 16 can be divisible by 4 and 2, but it's not the lowest. You got to remember, you need to pick your lowest, all right? So we've put 4 there, we've put a dash, and then we put 4 there. What do we do next? Now, if you remember the example I showed in the previous video, we follow what's known as divide the denominator, and the answer you get, you times your numerator, all right? Divide the denominator times your numerator, all right? So what I'll do here, I like to draw arrows just to explain, but once you become an expert in this, you don't need to do any of that, but I'm just trying to illustrate a little bit in detail for you guys to understand. So what do? I like to put the division sign, and I put a D there. So in that way, you guys know what I'm actually doing. It's divide denominator. And I said in the previous video as well, the key word is think of D and D. So divide denominator. So in that way, it's easy. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. All right. So what I do is I put the 1 there. And then the answer you times. So you times it by your numerator. So times numerator. So you've got 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then the answer you get, you times your numerator. All right. So what I like to do is I like to literally tell students to put the brackets there. We'll simplify that later. All right. So what you do, 4 divided by 4 is 1. And the answer you get, you times the numerator, which is x minus 3. All right. And then from there, you put a minus because you got a minus there. So you follow the sign. And then what do we do from here? You go 4 divided by 2. Again, so divide the denominator. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So you put 2 there, and then you times your numerator. So times your numerator. All you simply need to do is literally put x plus 2 there. All right. So like I said before, there's no need for you guys to put the arrows there. I'm just illustrating to you guys what I'm actually doing. All right. Now you can see here, what we need to do is we need to expand. Now, I've given you enough videos in the previous sessions on how to expand. So what do we do here? We put the arrow. Again, these arrows are just to illustrate what I'm doing. You don't necessarily need to write them down. I'm just getting you guys to understand in detail what I'm doing there. So you go 1 times x and 1 times negative 3 minus 2 times x minus 2 times plus 2. All right. So what we do from there, we go 1 times x, that's an x, and 1 times negative 3 is a negative 3, and negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 plus 2 is negative 4. And then what you do, you divide it by 4. All right. So what we've done is we've expanded. All right. We've expanded. And like I said before, what do we do in expansion? We get rid of the back brackets. All right. What do we do next? We group the like terms together. All right. So I like to use a famous arrow, single arrow to show that the x's are together, and a double arrow to show that the numbers are like terms. So what do? We rearrange them. What does rearrangement mean? We move them according to their like terms. All right. We don't change the sign. All right. So what do we do here? So we go x minus 2x minus 3 minus 4. So what I've literally done is I've arranged the x's on one side and I've arranged the numbers on the other side. Please note, like I said before, I have not changed the sign. I've kept the sign consistent, all right? And that becomes over 4. So what do? I simplify. What is x minus 2x? Basic integers, that's going to be negative x. And negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7 divided by 4. All right. Can I simplify that further? No, I can't. All right. So that's exactly what we need to do. So you can see from this step here onwards, this is exactly the same as how you're adding and subtracting numerical or arithmetic fractions. From here onwards is where the actual algebra follows up, where you're expanding and then you're grouping the like terms, you're rearranging, and then you simplify. All right. So that's how we work through this question. All right. Now let's look at question number 2. I'll just move the paper this way so you guys can see. So x plus 4 over 3 minus x minus 3 divided by 9. So put a line there. What is the lowest common multiple between 3 and 9? Again, some students might jump the gun and say, oh, it's 27 because 3 times 9 is 27. Yes, it is exactly divisible by 3 and 9, but it's not the lowest. All right. So what comes in my mind is number 9. All right. Pretty much like 4 and 2 had 4, 3 and 9 had 9. All right. So what I'll do here is to avoid making this a bit congested like in this explanation, because now you guys know what we're trying to do. So we go 9 divided by 3, that is 3. And then what you do, you just put the numerator like that. You put a negative number there because you got a negative. So you got to be consistent with the sign. 9 divided by 9 is 1. And then you put x minus 3. Again, you got to be consistent with the sign. And then what do we do? We're now going to expand that. So 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 4 is 12. And negative 1 times x is negative x. Oops. That's a poorly written x. And negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. All right. I'll just, again, just for those who are learning this topic, I'll just put the arrow just to illustrate what I'm doing. All right. So 3x plus 12 minus x plus 3. Divide that by 9. All right. So you can see that's a like term. The x's and the numbers are the unlike terms. So what do? I rearrange them. So 3x minus x plus 12 plus 3 divided by 9. All right. So 3x minus x plus 12 plus 3. So that now becomes, because not space here, I'll just work on the remaining space here. That becomes 2x plus 15 divided by 9. All right. And that's now my answer. Okay. So like I said before, this step is exactly how you work on linear fractions, or should I say numerical fractions, adding and subtracting numerical fractions. And then as you move down here, you group your like terms, you rearrange, and then you further simplify. Can I simplify that further? No, I can't. If I had been given an opportunity to do so, if you can simplify it, go ahead. But at this time, you don't. All right. Thanks guys for listening. Bye now.